hello, and welcome to Exhale with Regina. Women owning their voices. And I'm so excited to be here with you on December the 10th. Can you believe it that we are almost out of 2021? You know, it just seemed like 2020 took forever. And now we are flying right by in 2021. So I want to thank everyone for those who are going to come on and watch it at this time. And for those who may catch it on the replay, I just want to thank you right now for joining us and being a part. There has been a lot going on. I've been in the Dominican Republic, so I haven't had an opportunity to get on here like I normally do, but my hope is that I'll be back on track. And it was so exciting. And I want to thank all of you for your support and your prayers and your wishes to me. The Dominican Republican was so inspiring. It was such a transformational experience, and just going over there with 200 coaches and the John Maxwell as part of the John Maxwell team and training others really gave me an opportunity to engage women and engage all the people over in the Dominican Republic that showed up for the Change Your World trainings, and it was phenomenal. So I just want to thank you all for your support, your well wishes, and then even those that contribute. Thank you so much to the cause. So I have two beautiful ladies with me. I have Alexis Street. She called herself the Friendly Neighborhood HR Lady or Queen. Normally she referred to all of us as queens, and it's so funny to see Lady on there, but she refers to everybody else as a queen. I'm going to read some of her bio to you, and then we have Tandra Price, the networking ninja. I love it. Tandra has her own networking, what we call it, just the networking
group.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Her own networking group. I think I wanted to give it a more sophisticated name, but it's simple. It's a networking group, and she's going to tell you more about that. And as usual, we're asking questions about how did they start their journey, and as well as their brand. And now I'm sure both of them are leading or living a life that they may have dreamt of, and now to be walking in it is so inspiring. So let me first tell you a little bit about Exhale with Regina, women owning their voices. Exhale with Regina, women owning their voices started because I was running into women who felt like they didn't know their talents, abilities, gifts. And that really was sparking something in me because I understood how that felt. And I said, wow, it would be great to have a podcast where women have found their voices. And there's so many things that can hinder us from finding our voices. It could be family situations. It can be our own judgments on ourselves. It can be experiences. Those things can hinder us from finding our voices. And when we are able to connect with women who have found their voice, who want to make a difference in the world, I felt like this was a beautiful platform for we can hear what other women were saying, and that would strengthen us. And I know for a fact that I get strengthened from these women when I read their bios, when they tell their experiences and their stories, because everybody got a story. And so when they share their stories and what they have gone through, it is so awesome and inspiring. Some have had tragic endings that they were able to transform through. Some have had small beginnings. Whatever the situation was or is, these women have found their voice. And one thing about finding your voice, you continue to find it on a daily basis. How about that?
Amen.
So without further ado, I'm going to share their bios with you. So I have Alexis Street, a human resource at an independent physicians association in Ann Arbor, and loves helping people identify, accept, live what makes them the most healthy, happy, and well. She has spent much of her career in the accounting and HR industry, gaining experience in areas such as culture curation, advocacy, and continuous improvement. While improving efficiency is her primary job, function by day, Alexis also enjoyed holistic and nurturing fellowship with loved ones and mentoring our youth. Now, Alexis has a youth group called Tea with TT. I thought that was so cute.
Tea with TT.
Yes, it is for young brown skinned girls who need a reminder that they are light, power, and beauty. Tea with TT is a safe space where we sip and spill wisdom. I love that. As we learn, grow, and teach together. And so let me just go over to Tandra Price's her bio. When can what can happen when two people connect over organic conversation, learn about each other's pain points, and take the next step to develop opportunities? Networking. There is an invaluable quality in being able to offer a solution for an unknown or known future problem. My passion is plugging people into the power of networking. After attending numerous networking events, seeking resources and services to grow my business, it was clear that many were not hitting the mark. People needed help navigating conversation, from saying hello to ensuring that the relationship didn't start and end at that moment. I help people win, capital WIN, through strategic network development. My focus led me to develop a platform that would give entrepreneurs access to resources and services for business growth. I know that when we help one person win, we are investing in the bank that makes all of us win. And then, and as I stated, Tandra is also an author. She has had been a sales professional for 20 plus years experience, have trained hundreds of entrepreneurs to master the skills to develop relationships, build and create and monetize opportunities that result in residual income through plugging into the power of network. So without a doubt, now, Tandra, you believe in networking. That is powerful. I love that. So let's start with you. Since I just finished reading your bio, you gave us some insight on how this all started for you. And so the first question I normally ask is, tell me how you started your brand, but you answered that. So tell me about how many years you have been doing this and what has been the most rewarding for you.
Oh my God. I've probably been doing this like I said, over 20 plus years. I started
networking.
Yeah, networking. I mean, I've been in the sales industry. I've been in the sales and network marketing industry for over 20 plus years.
Okay.
And I just kind of took those skills of what I learned and turned my passion into profit. I started really my networking groups because my husband works for one of the largest aircraft industry companies, and we had to do a lot of traveling. So every place we went to, I had to always start over, right? I had to start over. I didn't know anybody in the community, where to go, what schools. And so I started just cultivating these ladies together, collaborating with other ladies in the communities and say, hey, let's have a cup of coffee. Let's talk about maybe some juggles and struggles of what you're doing in your business. If you got a business, you're looking for a business, or if you're just looking for just some regular conversations. And so they just grew. So everywhere I went, I mean, I kept them and they grew. People started asking me to come and speak on like, hey, how did you do this? I'm saying, let me tell you what I did in 30 days. I got to a community, found these amazing ladies, and in 30 days, boom, we had a thriving community where, ladies were coming in just like every week. They were excited to be there. They were excited to have a cup of coffee and come and talk. And, just kind of chat up things. But it was so helpful for not only me, but for other ladies that stayed in those communities that still didn't know a lot of the resources and stuff in those towns that they currently lived in. Because normally when we go somewhere, we're just kind of in our little box or whatever, or don't move past the grocery store or whatever. But
Okay.
we have to find those other resources to connect with other people to see what's really going on in the communities.
So that's really powerful. And what you're telling me that you created opportunities.
Yeah, I created opportunities for ladies to come. I mean, from those groups, I now have over 8. I have one in Mexico. We got one in New York, Atlanta, Texas. I mean, I got them all over. But what I found when we put these groups together is that they were so helpful because we start getting authors out of these groups. We start getting people to doing their small business. We start getting people to doing talk shows. We got people to even start creating their own communities. So it was with the tips and resources, it really kind of just spun into, all these different avenues that came out of it. So it was really good. And we still do it today. I mean, we still do it today. And a lot of ladies, they just love it because not only are we just now bringing people together, but we're really being our authentic selves and really talking about the juggles and struggles of what we have as being entrepreneurs, because it's lonely out here.
It is.
We got to get some help.
Yes, that's very true. And thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexis, you've been in HR for extremely long time. I can't remember the years. But you call yourself now the friendly neighborhood HR lady. So tell me about that, Queen. Tell me, how did you even come up with your brand name and why the neighborhood HR lady?
Right. Absolutely. First of all, let me just say thank you so much, Regina, for inviting me to have a seat at your table. I appreciate your platform. I appreciate you in this opportunity to fellowship with beautiful queens such as yourself. And Tandra, I love, it really resonated with me when you said, you were looking for an opportunity. And so why not extend that to everyone else? And you see how it has just grown like that perspective really sparked something in me. So I appreciate you for doing what you're doing and stepping out in that way. So for me, I really started my professional career in the accounting space, but always, I say that I was born with my heart on my sleeve, and it's still alive and well and beaten. But over the years, it started to bleed a little bit. So I'm like, okay, let me kind of shift gears a little and kind of focus on where strengths are. And I have strengths in math, although I love the physical sciences, but I have strengths in math. And so I followed the accounting path, but the universe has a funny way of kind of gently redirecting you to where,
Yes.
what's innate to you, what's authentic to you.
Okay.
And I love to see people happy, healthy, and well. And if I can be a part of having, bringing that out of people, I'm here for it all day. And so I had an opportunity, many moons ago, almost 20 years ago, to experience the HR world. And then now with my current organization, I have been doing HR specifically for about 8 years with them, but total about 15 years with the HR world. And, what I find is that it's a role that is often misunderstood and I think undervalued. With really what a good HR person can bring to the table. And I think it's really those soft skills. It's about how you do what it is you do. There is transaction that goes along with it, but there's, a lot of strategy that can be pulled out of a good HR person to really help, move an organization forward. And so I like the friendly neighborhood HR lady because it could be daunting. HR is like kind of like a 4-letter word in some circles, and it's because typically HR, we're employed by the organization. And so, people assume that we're only there for the business, but really we're human resources. So we're there for the human. And so you have to understand what the business needs are, but you also have to understand what the employee experience is and what the needs of the employee are. And those things have to combine in order for the organization to be successful. Because at the end of the day, without the people, the organization is not an organization. Right. And so I just wanted to take the sting out of HR and make it more approachable. And share some of the tips and the tricks of the trade that I have learned over my time and really infuse what it is that I feel I bring to the table. And I think that's really the heart of me. like how I do what it is that I do. So that's how we started.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I love how you said that it is HR is undervalued because people just really think that it's about being a part of the organization. And I see, Tandra, you're nodding your head. Did you want to say something to that?
Well, no, I totally understand kind of how you say you want to take that sting off of that word, because people, I mean, it's the same way with networking. When people see networking, they don't really understand it's undervalued to really what can really transpire out of that once you really do it correctly. And just like you, I mean, once they really understand what your real role is and how it comes out, I mean, oh my God, what a beautiful thing it could be.
Absolutely. And I would say too, I'm a recovering reluctant networker, right? Because it was this big thing that was scary and daunting. And, I'm not a salesperson. So how do I get into this lane? And over time, I've slowly learned, but I love what your approach is. I think it makes it approachable for people. Come and let's talk and let's share who we are authentically, right? And through that, you can build so much, right? I love it.
Yeah, because Tandra, you mentioned you start these groups wherever you were, right? And you were having conversation over coffee. Now I'm a tea girl, but I respect coffee.
Whatever your favorite
tea on the tea.
Whatever your favorite beverage is. But you know what? I just think when it comes to anything we do, in business, human resources, I mean, I think it all starts with a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people get so caught up in, the preparation of what the conversation needs to be, instead of letting it just be your organic self. I mean, just talk freely. I mean, I think we get caught up into that. And then that's what really stops us and put those blockers up against us and where we can't move forward.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. I want to thank you for joining. I've seen some people come in and out, and we do have a comment. Hey, Sharisa, do you see me? Alexis, you do a great job engaging others. Yes, that is very true. So, conversation over coffee. You say you have 8 groups, right?
I have 8 groups.
Okay. Yeah. Now, are they all online, or are you still spread throughout?
They're all online. Before COVID hit, I was going to a lot of them local, the ones that I could, especially in Atlanta and California, because I love the, the hot weather. But, we've all transitioned to a new age of where we really need to be going anyway. But we're all online, and it's nice. I mean, you can be at the comfort of your home. You don't have to go anywhere. And it's not so intimidating, because a lot of times when people go to networking events, they're like, oh my God, I got to go into another room with a bunch of people I don't know and try to have a conversation. This way, I mean, you still don't want to be silent when you're on virtual, but this way, I mean, it kind of knocks a little bit of that off, a little, the edge off, so. But you can kind of see, you can do a little bit more research before you get there. We should be doing research anyway when we go to a networking event, knowing who's going to be the presenter, who, they follow, their followers, and kind of see if there's any match of your target audience that's going to be there. But it kind of knocks it off. I mean, I like it. I mean, everybody's now transitioning back into what they call the real world, going into in-person events, which is still cool as well.
Yeah. Thank you, audience, for joining. You have joined Exhale with Regina. I just want to encourage you, if you have a question for either one of our guests, please feel free to ask them. So, Alexis, I'll start with you. You said that you started you love math. And accounting. So, you that brain that I
we love you. We love you.
We love you. So you're dealing with those numbers and everything. And one of the things that, and I know Tandra knows this too, is that small businesses can sometimes get away from understanding, getting those balance sheets together, understanding their, getting their organizational chart together. Can you speak a little into that? Because I know that it's important, because that's where I am. But the first thing I did was jump and, build my wings, but I know too that these things are important. So can you speak a little into that and the importance of that?
Absolutely. You are correct. It's important because that is your business, right? And what these tools, the financial statements, the balance sheet that you talked about, and the organizational charts and business plans, these are tools that will help you progress and grow and scale and measure your business. Without them, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening, right? And I think for me, keep it simple, right? So if you can think about it in terms of things that are natural to you and that you understand, then I think it makes it easier. Now, obviously, all of these different tools will be populated with different data depending on who the individual is and what your industry is and all of this. But if you can keep it simple and just understand the line items as it relates to something that you already know, like for instance, expenses. It's just, what are you spending the money on? You know what I'm saying? Revenue, what money is coming in, and then just trying to understand what those different formulas are as it relates to your business. And I think obviously get with a professional. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but you do want to speak to someone who understands how to dot the I's and cross the T's in that particular space, so that you can get the information up front, understand it, and then, have some learning so that you can run with it. And anytime you get stumped, you can go back to a professional, so it doesn't have to be a large expense, but it is important to have someone who really understands the numbers or the legal side of things, so that you're covered and you can really focus on what it is that you went in business for in the first place. You're changing lives. You don't want to spend all of your time over here on spreadsheets.
Yes.
But you do know, in order for you to change the lives and have your territory expanded the way you want it to be, you have to make sure that the spreadsheets are pimp tight, right? You have to make sure that your bottom line is together so that you're empowered with the resources to do the things that you need. And so there's so many different ways, but just it's necessary in order for you to do how you want to do for the long term in your business. And I love how you said it too. You said, you know what, let me just flap these wings, because that's one of the best ways. That's one of the best ways to learn. You get those lessons that hurt, and then
you have hard lessons for sure. For sure. Yes.
And when you just kind of fly out there, you're going to have bumps and bruises because you don't know what you don't know. Right.
But that is so true. You don't know what you don't know. You really don't know.
You don't know. But kudos to you for flying. Right. I think one of my kind of barriers to kind of launching and finding my voice and using my voice is I'm analytical in my mindset. So I have to have all of this data first. I could collect data forever. And then what am I going to do with it? Where is the doing? Right. So I love that you said that. Like, let me build these wings. Let me get strong here, because this is where my heart is. Right. And the rest will fall in line, because I feel like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're walking in your purpose, God gives you the grace. And so he will bring the people and the knowledge and the understanding. He will bring it to you. But it's important. It's essential. If you're going to have a business, it's essential to make sure that you're managing your business, and all of that is a part of it.
Tandra, you wanted to say something to that?
I mean, you know what? I understand the bumps and bruises that comes along with that. But I truly understand too that, knowing the numbers helps you get to where you're going, because I feel like even in business, if you don't know what your number is, you don't know how to calculate that correctly. You don't know how many contacts you need, how many sales you need. And knowing those basic numbers, like you said, or having a formula is important so that you know where you're going. I think without having some type of calculation system, it's hard for you to get to where you're going if you don't know those numbers, at least the primary number. I always ask clients, what's your number? And people say, well, what do you mean? Like, what's your number? What are you trying to strive to? So that's how we know where to direct you. Us as leaders, we got to know a little bit about what you want to do, where you're going, and how you're trying to get there. And in doing that, once we can calculate a lot of that stuff for you, like you said, we ain't the mathematicians or the accountants or anything like that, but we can put some basic numbers. Say, hey, you need to talk to 15 people, and out of 15 people, you might get 5. So next time you got to go to 30. You know what I'm saying? We can calculate it a little bit like that.
I love what you just said. You make it 15 people, You may contact 15 people, but you may get 5.
Yeah.
And you know something, Tandra, how was that when you started interacting with people who wanted to become entrepreneurs, but got frustrated by the process? Because when I talk to entrepreneurs, the first thing that I hear, I thought I was going to set my business or set up my business and do this and do that, but that's not what happened.
No, like for me, even with the clients that I talk to, I, like you said, Alexis, let's just keep it simple. I always go, you will find me the 3-3-3 rule, okay, on everything, because I feel like if you take your top 3 activities that you have to get done today,
okay, I got to take some notes,
because we got to start getting into a structure of our day. I mean, that's kind of how, a lot of us leave corporate world and we're so used to that 9 to 5, kind of somebody telling us what we had to do. I mean, you knew what you had to do, but when you get into the entrepreneurship, it's like, oh, now where do I go? Yep. But anyway, I do a 3-3-3 rule system, and it's do the top 3 activities. No matter what, don't add all that stuff, because we have a ton of stuff that we have to do, but life gets in the way, our day gets in the way, our family gets in the way, but we can do three things that we can get done for that day. And then the next 3 is the 3 top networking events that you're going to. I always say, we have to network. It's a must for any business. Yeah. Your networking may not be my networking, but again, if we go back to, like Alexis said, the numbers, you got to know how many people you have to talk to today. You may not have to go to 3 networking events, but guess what? You may have to talk to 50, 60 people that day. So you got to kind of figure out, again, we start with the numbers. And then my last 3 is that, follow 3 top influencers that where you want to be, that are bigger than you. So now you can kind of see what they're doing. And a lot of people don't know who their target audience is, but that helps you to identify who your target audience is as well. Because once you start following your influencers, you'll start seeing your target audience inside of those groups that they are in. So,
you bring a very good point. So your target audience, is it just women?
No, my target audience is, I have speakers, authors, coaches. It's not just women. I do our conversations cater to them? Yes. But you know what? Anybody, any entrepreneur can join.
So it's definitely catering to entrepreneurs who need the resources and skills to level up their business.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And so I do understand when you say that the information wasn't readily available to you. And that's because most networking groups that are out there is really to get you employed. It's not about entrepreneurship, right?
You know what? I think, to me, networking at groups, I think you have to be so intentional when you go and make sure that you do the research to the ones that you're going to, because some of them really are a waste of time. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
They are a waste of time. Most people, when they go to networking events, they're all about the sales pitch. But remember, you're not going to network for yourself. You're going to network for the next person. Because we're building up the resource bank for our clients, for our customers. That's how we become the one-stop shop, right? When we go and network, there could be a painter over there. You never know if you have a client, or you may come across somebody who's looking for a painter, and then you could be that referral source, right? Because that's how we all started. We had to go to networking events and start building up referral sources. Everybody got probably a stack of book with cards that they ain't never looked at again. Don't even have. I used to build guitar. I used to take out cards all the time, but now we can do things a little bit better now. Make our transition better. We don't have to collect all those cards, right? We don't have to do that no more.
Right. No, we don't.
but we find a way to make that connection. But yeah, so I feel like being a resource bank, like I said, we're investing into the resource, into our bank. And so when people come, we can always pull out that card or whatever, however you want to make it sound or work for you. But you can pull out that deposit ticket and say, here, I got something for you.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, no, so here, Sharisa said, was Tandra in the 2021 Let's Experience?
Oh, yeah. I was at the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour. I'll be there again in February.
Okay, very good. Sharisa did that one.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just as a sidebar, I will say that is an experience. Like sometimes we got to get out of our own way in order to grow. And sometimes you have to be able to step into things like that and be able to, again, that's for me, I'm on things networking, but that was like networking heaven for me. But I made some wonderful connections. I made some amazing friends that I'm still connected with. But remember, you don't know who they know or who they know or who they know in
That's
order
right.
to grow your business.
Yeah, so that's really important. And I love what you just said. And you and Alexis both are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that in order to grow your business, you have to know your audience, and then you have to know you have to know your bank book, you have to know your bank, you have to know your formulas. All of it goes together. And I don't think we necessarily see it that way, not particularly in the beginning, because it's true, you don't know what you don't know, right? So tell me, when did the light bulb come on for you, Alexis, that you begin to see that it all mattered, that it all came together? If you really wanted to have a successful business, that these things had to be in order.
Yeah. So I think that came early for me, only because I have that analytical mind, right? So I knew that I had to dot the I's, cross the T's, the agreements, the contracts, the business end of it had to be together. For me, it's, coupling that with the stepping out on the faith of it all, right? And in the presentation of it all. But I knew very early on, just from my accounting background, it is very much proper order, series of systems, making sure these things are in place. I've started an LLC with my husband and our son as well, and I'm kind of the behind the scenes, in the background doing all of that work. So and seeing too the experience. So I have a couple of entrepreneurs in my network, and just kind of seeing and learning from their challenges and their experiences of not having those things, and how much it can cost you in certain situations. And especially when they're simple in concept, having these different systems in place. They're simple in concept, but again, when you're starting out and you don't know, and maybe you don't have a community who is sharing the wealth of knowledge and the understanding, and you don't have an example of how to do it, when it hits you, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know I needed these things, but when you think about it, it is simple to have them in place. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. It can be tedious. But once you really understand the value, especially of the numbers, because it's how you measure, it's how is what I'm doing producing the intended result. Without the data and without the numbers to review, you won't know that. And so you could be wasting your time, you could be wasting your resources, and who wants to do that? So I knew early on that it was important. Absolutely.
Okay, that's very good. And Tandra, they said that you are as good as your network. So an entrepreneur is as good as their network, right? And I love what you said earlier. You said, but you have to do your research, and you have to know your target audience. How many entrepreneurs really think, you think about networking, right? You're going out to network. You just, you putting on your clothes, you're going to meet some people, and I don't know who you know, and you're going to impress, right? That's what you can start off with. What is the advice that you would give entrepreneurs, and really how to approach not only the research that you've shared, but when you get there? How we should think about our target audience and our conversations?
You know what? I think that, first of all, we have to know what the pain points of our audience. I mean, and there's so many tools right now, especially social media. I mean, you can find out people. You don't really have to even ask any questions, because on social media, they give you all the answers. The conversation is there. If you see what people are doing, if your product and services is tearing to those people that are showing you what they need, what their problems are, those are the people who you go after. A lot of people, even entrepreneurs still today, don't know what their target audience is. because they don't take a step back to really figure out what the pain points are. I mean, what is your product and services really doing? I mean, everybody, we can start a business, but we normally start a business because of either something personally that happened to us or something that happened to someone else. And you found a solution to make it better. Mm-hmm. So now you have to find those people with that same issue. And your target audience may not be on Facebook or Instagram. You know, I'm a LinkedIn person. I love it all day because you can normally have a more personal conversation. You don't have to feel like you're that salesy person. You don't have to push all those Facebook ads and things of that nature out. Yeah. But I think, you know, I always start with, you know what, what's your why? And then I always ask you, when is the last time you changed your why? And if you didn't change your why, how come you didn't change your why? Because you know what, we have to keep ourselves thinking about what we're doing. Yeah. And a lot of times we get so distracted and we start veering off into different lanes. I mean, I don't know if, you know, some people I'm not trying to, you know, maybe can sell Mary Kay. Next thing you know, they're selling plant food. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to stay in our lane because we're doing what we call this hustle street networking. And that's not how it works. Mm-mm. I mean, it always says you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you failed the plan already. So, you know, you got to get a plan, right? Yeah. That's where we start at first. And then once we have that, and then, like you said, we go into where Alexis is, listen, now we got to get the numbers. We got to get the data. And figure out what do we need, what kind of systems, what kind of tools, what kind of personal development that we have to have. And then for everything else, you know, you have to do your research. I mean, you know, just think anytime, you know, and I always tell people, you know, when you're ready to buy something, what do? The first thing is you're looking at the reviews and all that kind of stuff, right? You're doing your research before you buy that product. And you have to think of that same way as in business, or even when you're making a connection with people. You know, 9 times out of 10, people look you up on LinkedIn or Facebook the first thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they want to see, you know, what your lifestyle is. That's in business too, isn't that right, Lexus? I mean, like before a person gets a job, you know, most of these employers, they're looking and see, you know, what kind of person, what's your character? Like, what do you, you know, what do you do? What do you do on the side? I mean, would this fit our company? Would this fit our model, our mode? And I mean, this is the same way when you do networking.
Yeah, that's very true. Alexa, you seem like you wanted to say something to that.
Yeah, I love that, right? And I wish I would have had this conversation with Queen Tandra them years ago when I was like, do I go to this networking event? Because I think when you have that perspective that, okay, I think it's about intention, right? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do and why? Staying curious, but be intentional, because once you know what you're going to do, then the rest kind of falls into place. Who do I need to talk to when I get there? Is anyone else trying to do the same thing that I'm doing? Who, you know, who are those power players? I think it falls in line when you understand what your why is and you're intentional about that. I love it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, because you know what I always tell people a lot of times when they go to networking events and they feel so intimidated, first thing I say is do a 360 panoramic view of the room so you know where to go first. I mean, instead of just walking in there, you know, we got to know, because everybody has their own little cliques and their own little groups, and you got to figure out how to get in the circle, right? So you got to figure out and do an assessment of the room. And then remember, it's just not about all the hors d'oeuvres and snacks. And if you're going to be in one of those, go to the back of the line, because that's where the conversation starts. That's where you're going to get all the information about what's going on in the back of the line, not the front of the line.
Yeah, that's very true, Tandra. The church that I was at for like almost 18 years, Dr. Sampson, he's gone on to be with the Lord, but he used to have us network prior to, because he did a lot of programming, educating us, inviting famous speakers and all of this to our church. But before that, we would fellowship over meals and conversation. It was so powerful, to the point that when he would inject himself into these conversations. This is a person who was considered one of the top 10 renowned preachers, you know, of the world. Ebony had proclaimed him as such, and several times. And so he would talk with us and know our names and all of that. And I was so impressed with him. And of course, when he passed away, you felt the difference. you literally felt the difference, because that's how he built us around conversation and learning one another. I mean, so much so, I was living in Lansing. And when I would come, because he talked about me and connected with his congregation, that when I would come from Lansing to come to the program, food would already be prepared for me. They would say, Regina, we have it ready for you.
Okay.
You know, and it was so inviting. You know, someone said, I love Dr. Sampson. Yes, so I hear what you're saying, and it really does make a difference. And I remember someone saying to me, because I was trying to grab some food and stuff, and she kept saying, the food can wait. Get out and network. But you know what? I learned how to network over just having something in my hand.
Yeah.
That right. So so you know, it was I like having something in my hand, and it's not so intimidating for you and the other person.
Gives you a little relaxation, like, you know, if anything happens, you know, listen, I got my food in one hand. It's almost kind of like a comfort. Everybody has their own thing that they have to make them feel comfortable, make them feel open to start talking.
Yeah.
Yes. So are there any books that either one of you could take this question that you would recommend to the audience to start engaging more in networking, understanding your target audience from the perspective of networking? Any books or HR or any recommendation of resources that you feel like that the audience would gain knowledge from?
I can say I'm not for sure the author, but it's called Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's a really good book that I can think of right now.
By Dr. James Clear. Yeah, James Clear, PhD. That's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, how do you spell his last name, Alexis?
CLEAR.
CLE. Oh, Clear, just Clear.
Yep.
I think that's a good book. I've been reading that now. I mean, I read a lot of different stuff, but I think I've been reading that right now. I read a lot of another book. You know, I'm gonna just throw a shout out. If you don't have your pitch together, Precious Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody is familiar with her, the pitch master. I mean, she has a workbook that I think is very good. It helps you to really outline your pitch, because remember, you're not selling. So you got to learn how to, say a pitch within 30 words or less.
Okay.
You know what? That is really powerful. John Maxwell has a book out that's called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And I love that book because it began to teach me that it wasn't about me as an entrepreneur. It's really what you said earlier. It's really about the next person. Yeah. And that's powerful. And so learning how to connect, one of the ways of being prepared is having questions ready for your audience, right? And so what have you found in doing this though, Tandra? What has been some of the challenges for you? And some of the adversities that you've had to overcome?
You know what? I look at everything as a learning opportunity. I don't really look at things as challenge because, I'm a student.
Okay.
Every day I wake up and I'm waiting for my teacher to come in and teach me, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's on podcast, whatever. Because I feel like I don't know everything, and I'm open to learning. So I really don't really look at it as a challenge. I just look at it, as another opportunity for me to get better and to be better.
Okay,
I second that. I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks intentionally. Call me SpongeBob, right? I am here, lifelong learner, here to soak up, right? And I think when you keep that open mindset, you never know what it is that you'll come, at least trying to learn at least one thing new a day. But when you're open in that way, so much can flow in. So I love that, right? Learning every day. It's not necessarily an adversity. The L's that I take are lessons. I'll take love and laughter, but I take lessons.
Yeah, I love that. Love, laughter, and lessons.
There you go. Yes.
That's in 3. She gave you 3 L's.
She did.
I
Love,
do everything
listen,
in
and
3 L's.
laughter. Okay. That's really powerful. I
Let me
like
add a
that.
book too. Lead from the Outside by Queen Stacey Abrams is amazing. I think
You were telling me about it. Yeah.
I think for the individual, but then also it can be applied to anything that you're trying to go after, because she talks about the series of systems. So I think that's a really good one. And then I would agree with Tandra. Anything James Clear, I think he's such an amazing thought leader, and he keeps it simple, and it's fact based. It's easy to apply. So I would add those. Add the Stacey Abrams one to that as well.
You know, that is great that you said that, because I used to think that things had to be so profound, so profound, and I would love to sit under pastors. So it's so profound. And then I became a part of the John Maxwell team. And it was so simple. And even going through my healing process, it was so simple. And there is so much simplicity in life. And, Tandra, I love what you said. I'm not looking at it as a challenge. I'm showing up as the student. And so is that, and then Alexis agreed with that. But people see, I think that's why people quit, because we see a lot, we see trials and tribulations. We see things they ought to be smoother than that. We see that, and we get caught up in that, and then we get discouraged, and then we begin to ask questions like, did God really send us? Is this my real purpose? What would you say to the person just to keep them steady? How to stay steady in your calling and what you believe you've been your purpose.
You know what? I meditate every day and I pray every day. But you know what? I'm going to say this. Michael Todd, he has a book called Crazy Faith. And it ain't crazy until you do it. So, I mean, like, we have to stay in that mind frame. We really do. Like, I got to go back with my 3-3 again. I have 3 things that I go by. And one is P for pay attention. Like, we have to pay attention, just like what we're talking now. We're gathering information. I'm loving this. Listen, I believe note takers are money makers. I'm sitting here writing notes. Listen, I may be looking down, and I apologize, but I'm sitting here
me too.
writing notes. But we have to pay attention to what's around us. We have to learn things that are not even in our sphere of our realm, because that makes us better. The more education, the more learning that we do. 2 is like, get excited. Listen, I am excited every day, because if you're not excited about what you're doing, you cannot expect nobody else to be excited.
All right.
Okay, you can't expect nobody to come knocking on your door. I mean, we can talk about visibility and all that stuff later, but I'm just saying you got to be excited. And 3, I mean, we can never quit. I mean, and that's where it goes back to that why. I mean, like, what's your why? Have you thought about your why? Have you changed your why? Is your why still up on your vision board? Is it still in your mirror, in your car, your bathroom? Like what are you really doing? What gives you the energy, the motivation to get up and say, guess what? Today is a good day. I'm glad. Like you were talking about our voices. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you think about the voice? I mean, our voices, they're so good, but guess what? Every day somebody's going to hear my voice. Every day somebody's going to get up and hear something from me, because God blessed me for another day to get up.
Amen.
I think shame on us if we don't get out and do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But Cheryl Woods says it's so much better. And I have to say this. She says it's so good. Our story ain't for us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not for us. And if we don't get out and be the servants that we're supposed to be and help be able to transform someone else's life, I have to say shame on us, because you know what? It's a blessing that we're up here now talking. What I'm saying? There's so much stuff and so much tragedy that has happened that, this is the moments where, didn't I say get excited, be excited? Like, I'm excited about being on this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I may have forgot some of it, but I'm excited about being here. Because guess what? I want somebody to hear my voice. And I hope somebody out there, will have their listening ears on and say, hey, guess what? I heard exactly what you said.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Amen.
Alexis, did you want to say something to that?
Absolutely. I second and third and fifth and 10th, all of that. I too am, I'm a daughter of the Most High God. God don't play about me. And a revelation came many moons ago of how dare you not allow God to use the vessel that he created, because he created us for his purpose. It's not about me, like you said, it's not about me. And I think that perspective helps me progress. It helps me move, because it's not about me and all of the insecurities and all of the negative thoughts that I would like to put on myself. It's not. It's just be able to be used. And so I think enthusiasm is a superpower. At work, I'm always like, I know I'm cheesy, y'all. I know I'm a whole lot of woman to take, but hey, this is what you're getting, okay? And it's all in love. It's what you're getting. But I absolutely agree. And I would go back and I would say to that person who is questioning, continue to be curious. Ask the right questions. Get into your why. Why do you feel this way? What are those thoughts and where are they coming from, so that you can see what is true versus what is false. What's false, let that go. Leave it right there. And what's true, move in it. And let that be what propels you, But get curious. Get all the way down to you can't ask why anymore. And then you will know what it is that you need to do next. So stay curious. Stay curious. Yeah. Hang on to whatever your source is. Mine is the Heavenly Father. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior. And I stay plugged into my Creator. My Creator is the one who can tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, why I was created in the first place, what that purpose is. So tap into that creative source.
Yes. Well, something, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you ladies, and you kind of already said some of it, but how are you helping women to exhale?
I think for me, just, like I always say, I got my listening ears on. And somebody just needs for us to sit and listen. And then that allows them to exhale. That, because here's the whole thing is, we're supposed to be a sisterhood. And when our sister got problems or has some concerns, I want to be that shoulder to lean on, so you can come and just pour it all on me. So now you can breathe. Now you can feel better. You know what I'm saying? If you don't allow that, then you know what? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't allow for us to be the servants that we need to be. I think, I got my listening ears on, and I'm here to hear and listen. And believe me, no judgment. I understand. Somewhere down the road, we've all been there, done that, know somebody. And, it's time to reach out and help somebody else.
There you go.
I just breathe from that, okay?
Put a little matcha green tea on that one.
I'm telling you, that was good.
That's what it's about, right? First and foremost, for me, I think it's living it. So I think examples have been a way that I have learned throughout my entire life, just watching and being in awe of people who seem that they have it all together, but it's because they're doing that work behind the scenes, right? So for doing my work and making sure that I'm exhaling, and that so that I can be full of the things that can sow into someone else, so I can be of service, right? But then also saving that space and inviting someone in to, let those shoulders down. What's on you, so that we can help one another, right? Many hands make light work. And so I think just, being it first, so that they can see that they can have it too. And then saving that space and inviting them in, and being that non-judgmental listening ear or shoulder for them to cry on, and just letting them know that I see you and I understand, and it's okay, because on the other side of this is your smile, your joy, your light. Right. And then seeking those opportunities. I tell my young tea queens real quick, I tell them all the time, when your sis is down bad, it's a reflection on you. Because if you see her down bad and you do nothing, even though you're able, mind, body, and spirit, that's a reflection on you, right? So we have to lift as we climb, or at least carry as we journey, because sometimes it's not always upward, right? We go like this. Sometimes we get so when we get somebody with us, it makes the journey that much richer, that much more valuable. Grab on, because you never know. And multiple minds, you can learn so much together, you can enjoy so much together. But saving that space.
That's beautiful. Well, This has been delicious
Yes.
and exciting and laughter, lessons, and what was the other L?
Love.
Yeah.
Love. So
Yes,
we had all
have the
that,
God of
all
love.
that right here. Yeah, all that right here.
All of
And so,
that.
are there any questions from the audience? Thank you for your likes and your love. And please invite others to come and hear the replay. Some very important things have been said. These women are using their voices. They are blessing others. And you know what? I love what was said too, because you letting our voices develop is hearing first, right?
Yeah.
Listening first. They say that empathic listening is 33% ears, 33% heart, and 33%, I think, behavior. Yeah. And so because your eyes. So eyes is the behavior part. Yeah. So 33% eyes, 33% heart, and 33% ears. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Magnesia Leary, hopefully I said your name right, my sister. Here, I'm gonna put you across. You said you three are amazing women. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining. Someone said that love Dr. Sampson. Yes, amen to that. Yeah. So we're down to the nitty gritty, as they say. We're down to the end. Okay. And I just want you to share your resources. I'm going to put your banner across, Alexis.
Okay.
And so please feel free to share your resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So as the Friendly Neighborhood HR lady, I offer a free 30-minute consultation wherever you are in your career, or if you're a business owner who has employees and needs some guidance on compliance, we can discuss a strategy for you to set up systems to kind of handle the business so you can get back to the business that you intended to go into. And if you're an employee in transition, or you need to, you find yourself in a situation where you're going to have to negotiate and you want to practice these things, you want to polish your presentation of yourself to get that role, to get that job, or to transition in any type of way, you can reach me on LinkedIn as Alexis L. Street. You can reach me via email. I think would probably be the best way to connect at Mrs. MRS Alexis Street at gmail.com, and we can connect and we can understand what your juggles and your pain points are, and we can get you on the road to confidently walk in your desired outcomes. Okay, you can do it, and sometimes we just need someone to help kind of polish us. And then on the T with TT side, if you are in the Washtenaw County area, I do monthly activities with young ladies where we just enrich ourselves. We learn how to affirm ourselves and our fellow sister, and we understand how to vision and how to goal set and how to really just kind of forecast our ideal self. And so if you're interested in any of those activities for a young lady in your purview, or if you're the young lady, you can reach me on LinkedIn, again, on via Gmail, and we can connect and hopefully invite you to some of those activities.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And here we have Miss Price, the networking ninja.
You know what? I want to give you two things. I actually have a free gift, and it's a Bitly link, and it's a 15 starters, 15 ways to start an organic conversation, especially when you're out. It's been proven and tested, and it works. The next thing I want to talk about real quickly is that I am a publisher. I have my own magazine, which is called Tapped In, and it is amazing. Magazine. We do it for women entrepreneurs, and the model of that is to each one promote one. But we let you come in and we put you on the front cover of the magazine. You get an inside spread with 2 additional pictures, and it goes out to over 200 media plus outlets. And we all have, I think we're now up to about 400,000 in distribution. Wow. But it's a way for you to actually get connected and expand your network. One of the things that the Networking Ninja does is she helps you put in networking strategies and tools. And that is a tool that you can use if you're looking to expand your network base and to grow bigger. Tap into Tapped In Magazine. And you can find that at tappedinmagazine.org, and you can find out my information there. But more importantly, you connect with me on LinkedIn. But I wanted to say one thing. There was another book that I wanted to talk about, just share with you. It's called Just a Sister Away. It's a very good book to read.
Okay. Just a Sister Away. Got it.
Just a Sister Away.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I just want to thank you, ladies, for coming on Exhale with Regina. It has been awesome. Women owning their voices. I appreciate how you both have owned your voices. Today, I have grown leaps and bounds. And I'm just so grateful to God for your gifts, your talents, your abilities. And God has blessed us all with that. And so there is no woman need to be jealous, putting each other down, judgmental, or anything, because God has gifted everybody with something that they have the ability to do. And so thank you so much for demonstrating that to our audience. And thank you, audience, for joining and being a part. And I'm going to ask you, ladies, if you don't mind going to my business page and just putting down your information, and I'll do the same. And I'm going to encourage you, audience, to continue to join. The next one I'm having on the 24th, which is, Christmas Eve. I'm keeping it moving. And I just want to encourage you today to keep on joining, keep on showing up, because the more we show up, the more our minds are going to be impacted. And today, I know that I was impacted, and I'm glad that you were too. So God bless. And again, thank you so much for joining. Hold on, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye.